Hello, everybody, and a really big warm welcome to Tea Time with Tricia. This is the first of these videos that I'm going to make, and I do hope you'll join me every day at excuse me, around 4 o'clock, so that we can share this experience together. Now, there's been a lot of references to the fact that this feels almost like a sort of wartime experience in some ways. So I just thought that what we'll do is to channel maybe a very elegant lady in the 1940s. I'm going to put very briefly on my hat, and I'd obviously be wearing a pair of gloves that match my my blouse. And here we are, and I'm thinking that we're at a beautiful tea time event at the Ritz in Piccadilly. I'm thinking gilded mirrors, chandeliers, beautiful crisp white tablecloths, and of course delicious tea. And the room is filled with these fabulous older women, and we're all chatting and sharing ideas and just generally having a really lovely time. So welcome. And I'm now going to take my hat off. And what I want to do in this video, I'd really like to share with you a couple of ideas that I've got for how to get through this period of enforced isolation successfully. And so I hope they'll be useful. One's a suggestion that was on a comment on the blog that I wrote yesterday, and the other is something that I did when I was going through a very deep and dark and difficult time, which I'll tell you about shortly. So what is this all about? Well, the first thing to say is, and I want to come across as not wagging my finger at you, but we do all have to take this really seriously. This morning I had an email from a very dear friend in Cornwall. Hello, Sue. And she was saying that her son in Hong Kong had warned her on the telephone that we don't know what's going to hit us very shortly, and that we absolutely have to be strict. No visitors to the house, no contact with anybody outside if we can possibly not have it. No excuses, oh, it won't matter if I just, all of that stuff. We really have to get our heads around this and take it seriously. So, sermon over. I'm not going to preach on about it. But what I want to do with this video is to keep it very micro rather than macro. I'm not going to be talking endlessly about the virus, what's happened yesterday, or anything like that. This is really concentrating on us, what we're doing, what we need, and what we can do to help each other. So my first thoughts are to share with something that I got yesterday from Julie, and she sent very poignantly, she said, my husband is in the military, he goes away fairly for very long periods of time, and when I got down, I had created for myself a box full of treats. So these were special things that would be just something to lift her spirits when she was feeling particularly down about missing her husband. So we're going to have quite a lot of those moments, I think, during this time. I know that I, for one, am feeling quite weepy. The other day I was watching the last episode of Last Tango in Paris, and Anne Reid and Derek Jacobi, brilliant actors, both in their 80s. At the end, they got up and danced together to celebrate their anniversary in the middle of a restaurant. And I don't know why, but I just started crying. And I just think that all our emotions are quite near the surface at the moment, which is perfectly understandable. However, it is nice to think that we might have a box of treats that we could go to just on those times when we need them. I tell you what, if we give ourselves lots of treats every day, and I've got a very sweet tooth, I'm going to be ending, if they're food treats, I'm going to be coming out of this 2 or 3 stone heavier, and I'm determined not to have that happen to me. So let me show you what I'm going to put into my box of treats, some of the things that will help me to keep going, to give you some ideas really. These were things left on my doorstep yesterday as part of my Mother's Day present from my daughters, and a lovely bunch of flowers. And the first thing is this: it's a scented candle. It's summer blossom, so I can imagine running a bath, lighting this and just letting these lovely delicious summer scents waft around me. This also hand cream, a special hand cream. Can you see how lovely the packaging all is for this? And my special hand cream, I've got these nasty patches on my hands at the moment, very dry, and they keep breaking out because I'm washing my hands all the time. And so this is going to be my special hand cream. I've got an everyday one, but this is going to be for those times when I just want to pamper myself a little bit. I'm going to put some other pampering things in there as well. And this, which is, I've had one bit already, caramel and pink salt chocolate. I don't eat much chocolate because it gives me spots, but this is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to give myself a square of that as a pampering treat. And I'm going to find other things. She talked about a special makeup item, so I might put a new LFF lippy in there, one that I haven't worn before, and just something special, like a gift to myself, and you need to do the same, a gift to yourself. And my second tip for today is to keep some kind of journal. I dug this out 8 years ago. My daughter Susie gave birth to a baby, India, who was really not at all well. And it was really interesting. I found this morning, and it's a journal that covers the period from January through to about October. And I'm just going to choose a couple of bits to read out to you just to show how the mood changed. And I think your moods will change over time as well. So this is what I wrote at the end of February. And you'll see that it wasn't a good time. So India is now being seen by cardiologists, dietitians, speech therapists, and ear, nose and throat specialists. We're still in the middle of this, and it's getting increasingly worrisome and overwhelming. I am constantly worried for Susie, who is very weepy. She cries most days for short or long periods, depending on who has said what to her or what India appears to be doing. So recording that you're feeling a bit down and so on and so forth is useful, because writing it down suddenly makes it feel a bit more over there. And then my second bit to read out to you is about 6 or 7 months later. I've recorded everything in between that's been happening. And this is what I write on August the 12th. India is off the CPAP completely and is able to go out of hospital during the day. She was out all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday for Freya's party. That would be her 3rd birthday party. And today too. Susie is being very upbeat about India and is very much more positive and happy. I'm also in a good frame of mind. I think I can finally let go fully of the fatigue, worry, stress and fear of the whole 6 months we've lived through. I think India will survive, not without further worry and frailty maybe, but I have lovely thoughts of her growing into a toddler and a child. And she is now a child of 8. She has special needs, but she's delightful. So this is about helping yourself through a difficult time. And this time next year, when we've just had Mother's Day and we've celebrated properly with our friends and family, we can look back on this period and go, oh my goodness, how brilliant were we to have got through it in the way that we did. So as I said, I am going to get through it. By the way, I just want to mention that all those things that I showed you from my special box are from Oliver Bonus. Brilliant site for little gifts, really, really inexpensive, so you're not going to be spending a fortune. So maybe treat yourself to a few things from Oliver Bonus. I've got these earrings, which I got from them. I don't think they cost much more than about £15 or £20. And each of these would have been around, £5 to £10. So, and it's an inspiring collection. And if you've got any presents to send to anybody, then do have a look at Oliver Bonus. I'm going to, from time to time, mention and promote businesses which will really struggle through this period. They've closed all their shops. It's a business that we know, it's local to us, and let's keep these businesses going while we're through this, if we can, when we need something, because otherwise the high street's just going to be full of the really massive chains that can possibly withstand what is happening, although it's not easy for them either, of course. I'm going to finish on a poem. I said that I'm not going to go on and on about the virus, but this poem was written about a week ago by an Irish priest called Robert Hendrick, and it's really quite beautiful, and so I hope you enjoy it. It's called Lockdown. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is even death. But they say that in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and grey and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those around them who are alone may hear the sounds of family. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is spreading flyers with her number through the neighbourhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick, the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbours in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we are, to how little control we really have, to what really matters, to love. So we pray and we remember that yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. Yes, there is even death, but there can always be rebirth of love. Wake up to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe. Listen behind the factory noises of your panic. The birds are singing again, the sky is clearing, spring is coming, and we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. Now, we're all in the Ritz in Piccadilly with our hats on, chatting and enjoying ourselves. Just reach across to your neighbour, squeeze their hand and say to her, come on, we can get through this, it's going to be okay. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow with some more ideas that I'm going to share that you're going to give me. So do join in the way that I've suggested in the email to you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.